Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's me to go first. I have a slight preponderance of vowels, and I certainly don't have a bingo. Now the Y is not particularly bingo, and it's also my scoring tile. I'm wondering if I can get the Y on a double letter square. I could do that with Yato or Otary, but that would leave duplicate I, and I certainly want to split up those I's. So, what words have an I and a Y in them of any length? Surely there is one. Well, airy. That works. £14, not great, and it's not a great rack leave. So am I missing something? It is a priority to play off the Y and one of the I's. I don't have an E for Yiti. Or another A for Rayat. Okay, I think that's all I can see. Not a good rack. W and a U is a bad combination. It's difficult to play them both off together, and neither is a bingo-y tile. I've also got the duplicate O to consider. I don't have any front hooks for airy. Now I do have Woot down here, which splits up the problem pair. It scores quite well. IUM has a little bit of synergy. 26 points is good. And I can't see a way of doing better than this. Just checking that all the words are valid, and they are. Great, I've got the QU combination. I've got Quim and Squirm, Quit and Squit, and Quist. So quite a few choices. I've also got Chi and Cheese and Souk. Funkers, not totally sure of that. Yep, good spot by my opponent. So, what have I got? I'm looking to see if I have a bingo. It would probably go through a vowel. Can't see anything through the E of Funkers. Or the I of Fairy. Or the A of Fairy. Now I've got Quirk. Let me see what this scores. £36 points, which is good. Now I could also play a word beginning QUET in row G. But I can't see a word which begins with those tiles. I'm looking to see if there's anywhere for Quim. I've got my M could go in front of HO in column 10, but IWO isn't good. I'm also looking at the triple letter squares to see if I can put my Q on any of them. Quim would leave RST as a rack leave rather than MST, which is better. But I can't see anywhere for Quim which scores anything close to what I'm getting for Quirk. Just pausing in case there's a higher scoring spot for my Q. 36 points is a good score, but with the Q sometimes you can score 40 or 50 or more. Yeah, that's all I can see. Well, this is quite a nice rack, quite balanced. I've got the Z for score. I should be able to play the Z and have a decent rack leave. But is Motzers good? M-O-T-Z-E-R-S. I don't think there's anywhere to play that at the moment. Motzers. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. And I don't think there is anywhere to play it. But I do need to consider if I have a bingo. I'm going to be fairly close to one. I'm mainly looking at the floaters in Quirk, Fairy and Funkers. Well, all the floaters on the board. If the M was an N, I would have trizones. Well, I can't see anything. Now my Z does go in front of HO in row F. Do I have a play beginning Z? No, I don't. I have nothing to go in front of ET. I could play just ZHO. The rack leave of EMORST is pretty good. But can I do something better than that? I'm looking in row B to see if I've got a play with the Z on the triple letter square. That would score about 70 points. Can't see anything. I've got Moses, 44 points, but I think Zoe is better than that because it retains the S. I'm just satisfying myself that I don't have anything in row B. That looks like the hottest spot. I have Stormer, and therefore I have Stormers in row N onto the S of Funkers. ET doesn't take an S after it, and nor does Wox, so I can't play Stormer in columns 13 or 14. So do I have an alternative bingo? Quite a few floaters to consider. Through an A, I would have rearmost. Great, my Stormer's spot stays available. Do I have an alternative? I don't think rearmost has an anagram, but it might. Jolly good. This reaches across to the double word square. 74 points. And that's quite a good rack. I take a 6-point lead, which is quite slender, and one which I'm likely to lose because my opponent is on turn. Through an N, I would have botanist. And the number of floaters on this board has shrunk. I don't have an E on my rack, and there are no E's in good floating positions. Not that I would have a bingo through an E. But I ought to be able to leave myself with a decent rack leave. A play of bot, B-O-T, would leave A-I-S-T, which is quite good. Ibex takes a V in front. Good score for my opponent, 36 points. He's now got a 30-point lead. Now, what can I do with this rack? I don't have an E for going underneath the R of Stormers, the second R, so I can't play underneath Stormers to good effect. I note for future reference that Zoe takes a B in front. I'm looking in row J to see if I've got a play beginning above UG. I could place my B there, so I could have a word B-A-O-N or B-O-A-N. Nothing good there. Ah, well. I can play bot here. 18 points. EM takes an O in front. I can't see a way of using that to good effect. I am keeping one too many vowel, which is a shame, and I'm only getting 18 points, so maybe I can do better than that. What about playing across here? I can play boat. 22 points, it's more points, and it's a better rack leave. It is opening up column 15 for a play ending in T. Just wondering if there's a better spot or a better play in this spot. I certainly want to play off the T, otherwise I could play Oba, O-B-A. Yeah, I think that's fine. Wow, loads of A's. Through a B, I'd have Batavia's. I don't think I kept any A's, so it's got a horrendous pickup. Tava is good, T-A-V-A, and A-V-A is good, so hopefully I can play my way through this very quickly. My V could go above the O of Stormers to make Rev, but I can't see a way of playing off any A's by doing that. Looking at the scores, I'm 8 points behind. I'm looking to see if I can play in row B with my V on the triple letter square. Can't see a way of doing that. In fact, I've seen nowhere good for my V. I can't see a way of taking advantage of column 15 if my opponent leaves it alone. Which he does. 22 points for my opponent. I've got the S for pluralizing jail, but I need to play off some A's. Well, I can play Ava across here. 16 points. It achieves everything I'm looking for in terms of rack leave. AIST is quite strong. If my opponent uses the triple word square at A8, he is going to be providing at least 2 floaters. And providing that hotspot at A8 is going to distract my opponent from column 15, where I have got 2 good positions. I've got the S for going after jail, and I've got the T of boat. If I draw an E, I could have an IEST ending word. Great. I have Toadiest in column 15. Toadies and iodates don't play in column 15 in terms of pluralizing jail, but they both play in row D, so I am bingoing. Fantastic. Toadiest is certainly my preferred play because it scores the most. I'm looking around to see if there are any other bingo opportunities. Can't see any, but both of these plays, bingo plays, are good in that they're more than face value. The play will either be doubled or tripled. Iodates is better than Toadies in terms of placing vowels next to premium squares. I can't see a bingo in column 8 through the A of fairy. There's still one blank and one S left. Great. Only 22 points. It's actually not too bad given the tiles that he's gotten rid of. Now I could make this play in row A. I should make it in row A because I'm going to be placing my D on a double letter square, so this is going to score more. And my opponent may feel that he's provided the opportunity for my bingo, which could mentally unsettle him. So, 83 points for Toadiest. I don't quite have payload. I've got the poly prefix. I've got the ly ending. I don't think I have a bingo. Tylopod is good, but I can't play that in column A for a lot of points. This board is now quite open. I've got all the floaters in Toadiest. There's row E for a bingo ending in S. And there's column 15, the 2 spots. Oh, okay. Toadiest not good. Wow. Okay, I was a bit surprised to see that come off. And my opponent has blocked the iodate spot. Wow. Really wasn't expecting that. So, how can I respond? There goes the second blank. I surely do have a bingo through one of the floaters in curates. But I'm struggling to see it. Wow. So, is there anywhere for my 7-letter bingos? Gosh, is it Dotiest? Is Dotiest good? Now it no longer matters where I play. I'm not sure of Dotiest, but I am inclined to try it. I think it is good, but it just may be spelt without the A. So it'll be a pretty poor show if it comes off. It certainly doesn't look good. So, is there a bingo I'm sure of? Asteroid is good. Dotiest would be a better play because it would score more, but I have some doubt about it. Asteroid, I have no doubt. Asteroid 74 points. It'll be 80 points for Dotia, so I'm only sacrificing 6 points. Not a great rack. And I'm 33 points behind. 18 tiles in the bag and 7 on my opponent's rack. So, there's a good scoring spot for my Y. The Y is the only high-scoring tile I have. Do I have a play in column 2 ending CY? Can't see one. I don't particularly want to play off a lot of tiles because I am behind. In fact, I'm a lot behind. So I'd like to keep the column 15 bingo lane open. Row J is open as a bingo lane for bingos through the N of Thunkers. So what do I want to achieve with this rack? Certainly playing off the U and the Y because they're non-bingo-y. And then playing off an E as well because that will address the vowel consonant balance, and also duplicate E is not a great combination. So UEY works. Where can I play that? Well, nowhere is stringing to mind. No, can't see anywhere. I'm looking now for places where my Y can play. Not sure about Pinchy, but in any event I can't use that to good effect. I've got just under 4.5 minutes left, so I don't have long. I'm looking in row L to see if I can play across the top of boat. BE does take an O in front. There's one U in the bag, so it is a priority to play off my U. I could play YOU as an alternative to UE. But is there anywhere for that? Well, I could play it in column 9, making EMU. It's not going to score very much. I'm wondering about playing in column 1. Ah, indeed, I can play UE right here. This is way better than any of the alternatives I've considered so far. 23 points. And that's a poor rack leave. All I do is draw tiles that I already have. But the bag isn't looking hugely bingo-y, so my opponent is unlikely to bingo. Yeah, only 19 points, 8 tiles in the bag. I am 70 points behind. Now, I'm fairly sure I don't have a bingo with this rack. I've got just under 3 minutes left. I don't want to have duplicate N. And 3 E's is too many. So, how can I play off an N and 2 E's? Well, I could do that down here. I'm 70 points behind, so I am still within a bingo's reach. 16 points, that's okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to score much more than that elsewhere. 2 minutes left. Well, still don't have a bingo. And I'm still about 75 points behind. There are 4 tiles in the bag. Now there's row J, the N of Funkers. And there's column 15, which isn't hugely useful without an S for an IST or IEST ending word. There aren't that many bingos ending in T, but I do need to keep the lane open. There's column 5 for a spectacular parallel play to Asteroid. I don't think there's any way I can open additional bingo lanes, so I really need to sort this rack out. I think the best way of doing that is geo. And by sort it out, I mean leave myself with the best rack leave. And playing 3 tiles is best because that will leave 1 in the bag. Through an R, I would have pan-fried. I don't have anything onto the T of boat, and I don't have anything through the N of Funkers. So I think I am probably doomed. Yeah, the bag is empty. I don't have a bingo, so now I'm looking to see if I can play out in 2, and I've got less than a minute left. Well, this may not be best, but it certainly guarantees an out in 2, and it's going to score reasonably well. Just need to check that I do have 2 spots for my P. I can play par in row A and pi in column 5. So I've got 22 seconds left. I'm just scanning the board from top to bottom and left to right to find the best place for my P. I can play par above the A of jail for 7 points. Dipped in row C, 14 points. I don't think I will find anything better than that. That stays available. Yeah. My opponent formally ends the game. And the final score, 402 to me, 457 to my opponent, a winning margin to him of 55 points. So well done to my opponent. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go first. I certainly don't want to keep 2 eyes, and yeah, there was nothing better than airy. This was quite a grim rack. Out row, that would have been nice. Where does that play? E10. Ah, very nice. Parallel to way, to its left-hand side. Instead, I played Woot for 26, keeping IMU. Not as good. Great bingo by my opponent, Funkers. And this is where I played Quirk for 36 points. I could have got 16 more by playing Requits at L6. Yep, through the E of Funkers. That would have been worth doing because the S is worth, well, probably about 10 points in the early stages of the game. So Quirk was inferior to Requits, but not hugely. Ah, there was a play through the Eye of Ibex. It was Zorries for 68. Instead, what did I do? I played Zoe for 35, which is a long way behind Zorries, but it's a very good rack leave. So some of that deficit would be compensated for. And indeed, I had a bingo. I saw and played Stormers. Stormia was playable in row B through the Eye of Ibex for the same number of points, and also Mortizer playable through the Eye of Quirk, which I didn't see. Boat at A14. I see, running down beside Ibex for 26 points. Instead, I played it at M12 for 22 points. Probably not a huge amount between those moves. Arva's at A12. Where's that? Oh, using the Vibex hook. Very nice. Yeah, that would certainly have been a better play than my play of Ava for 16 points. I did retain the S, but that's not enough to compensate for a 30-point scoring difference. Now, this was my moment of shame. Toadiest was a phony. I had Iodates and Tills and Toadies and Tills and Diastole at D2, which I didn't see through the L of Till. So a howling blunder, and rightly challenged off by my opponent, who then plays Curates. I saw Asteroid. Wow, the only bingo. And that confirms that Dotiest with an A was not good. So I'm glad I didn't compound my misery by trying it. Now I was trying to recover and regain a bingo-y rack because I was a bingo behind. And there were still a couple of bingo lanes on this board. Now Yode at A1, well, that keeps the U, but it's a very good score, 37 points, and the U in the end does have some synergy. Instead, I played UE for 23 points, so a score difference of 14. Some of that will be made up by the rack leave. Really, the winningness of this move depends on whether I bingo after it. So equity differences in this pre-end game stage can be unreliable. Not a nice rack for my opponent. Unfortunately for him, I was also struggling. Donny for 33 points. It's a nice score, but it burns a lot of tiles at a time when I needed a bingo. So I think Ian for 16 was winninger. No bingos here. Now there were 4 tiles in the bag, and I played off 3 of them. And I think that is the right thing to do. No bingo here. I could have had Fap at A3. Oh, very nice, making a parallel to Asteroid to its left, making Far, Upus, and Dipped. And keeping Dine. My play of Defiant, though, only scored 5 points less. Fap would be better, almost certainly, if there were 2 spots for Dine, and I suspect that there may be on this board. And finally, Dipped was best for 14. So, an interesting game. I was really surprised with Toadiest. I thought it was good, and it just shows that in the vast universe of words, some of them can appear, you can believe they're totally good, and they're not, even high probability ones like that. So, that was a bad thing to do, but I recovered with a bingo on the next go, and I was a bingo behind, so my priority was to try and maximize the bingoiness of my rack leave and keep bingo lanes open on the board. On this occasion, it didn't work out. I was unable to recover with a bingo, but that was still the right strategy. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.